We back.
We're back. You may have
We
just seen
back.
us there on Facebook or YouTube talking about aliens. But now we're here because we also wanted to cover some superhero stuff that's going on. Really, we just wanted to give our thoughts and our piece on the end of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and then we're going to get into some Invincible here in a minute, and I'll try and have fun things for us to look at while we do that. Um,
Nice.
I gotta say, overall, with the Falcon and Winter Soldier, I really enjoyed it. Honestly, for me, the first two episodes were a little rough, and I was like, not as engaging or as good as WandaVision or whatever. But after that, once I got to Madripoor on that episode, I felt like it really took off and really picked up steam. It's very messy. It's not perfect. It's got a few things that are really kind of glaring, annoying kind of things. But overall, I think the heart was in the right place and the action for the most part was really good, and I really liked the characters. I liked John, what was his name?
Walker.
John Walker. Yeah, Wyatt Russell's John Walker. I really thought I really thought he delivered in this. Anthony Mackie really shined brightly. Sebastian Stan. These guys are really forces to be reckoned with here in Hollywood. I think Anthony Mackie was born for this moment right now, like
Yeah.
looking back on his other films and just the characters he's played and stuff. I think he really has earned this, and it's kind of destiny in a way. Daniel Bruhl was great. I forget the actress's name, but Sharon Carter, she's awesome. Everybody in the show I thought was good. Honestly, the Flag Smasher stuff kind of was the weakest part, I think. Um,
The
but
main the main
yeah,
flag smasher, I thought her performance was really good.
she was really good.
The
Yeah,
other ones though were pretty rough at times. So I was like,
yeah,
these people
and
aren't
it's tough.
seasoned
Yeah,
actors.
and it was tough to really get into
Crusade.
their crusade a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I think there was a subplot of a virus that got cut out due both to kind of like storytelling reasons and also just probably didn't work at the time that they were thinking in terms of the pandemic or whatever. But they cut out the train. Apparently, those trucks that they fight on top of in like the second or third episode, those were carrying antidotes or something like that they ended up kind of cutting, but that tied directly into the uh, Mother Donia or whatever, the woman who was dying
Yeah.
and who died or whatever. So there's some stuff that was pretty messy, and then that last episode did feel fairly rushed in terms of getting off their chest what they needed to get off of to kind of round it out. But overall, I really enjoyed it. I really liked it quite a bit. How do you feel about it, Maddie?
Well, I'm going to agree with you. It was really rough, and I think that last episode was rushed and could have definitely used it like a couple more episodes, at least one more to kind of round stuff out. I kept on watching it and like, why do I care about the Flag Smashers? Like, I just didn't.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's messy. It's really messy. I love that. I love Anthony Mackie as Captain America. I love the
Mm-hmm.
suit. I loved all
Yeah.
the stuff that he was doing. Yeah, I mean, I love, there's good stuff in it, and I'm hoping that once we get Captain America 4, which was just announced,
Yeah. With
we'll kind of
Sam as
like
the Cap.
maybe we'll pick, maybe they'll fix some of these issues or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'll be there for every Marvel anything. So,
Yeah. I think
it was better than Hellstrom, I'll tell you that. So,
yeah, I heard that one was rough.
so
So the showrunners for this show, Falcon and Winter Soldier, got signed on to do Captain America 4 with Sam in the Cap suit. So that'd be cool to see him take like the movie presence, like we're gonna see, or his own movie, which is funny because it
yeah,
harkens back to that joke that him and Tom Holland had at Comic-Con or whatever,
yeah.
where Anthony Mackie's like, I never seen one of your Spider-Man movies or whatever. He's like, you haven't seen Spider-Man yet? And he's like, well, I haven't seen the Falcon movie either. Oh wait. And so he fucking throws some shade on Anthony Mackie, but it'll be cool to see the direction that they go in with Captain America 4,
Yeah.
and also the end of this episode, the end of this season and episode, and everything ended as the Captain America and the Winter Soldier, um, the title
Oh, dang,
change.
we can talk about Shang-Chi again?
I was hoping, no, I was hoping that at the end of this little video here,
I'll
they
do
would
it.
show the Captain America and the Winter Soldier title, which was really
Yeah.
cool. I thought so. I think that'll be great. I liked Sam's suit and everything. I even especially liked that scene at the end where talking about like the the American responsibility
Oh yeah,
and
that scene was
the
amazing.
stuff with the senators and the world leaders and trying to get them to change and stuff. You know, it was a little ham-fisted at times, a little cheesy, but it's really speaking for a greater good. And like kind of the underlying thread of this show was, you know, like whether or not there could be a black Captain America, and the whole stuff with Isaiah Bradley and everything was really heartfelt and really cool that he got at the end
You know what?
some
I could have
praise.
used a old Cap like shaking his head as he's watching this on TV, and
Yeah.
like old Agent Carter just being like, just some kind of like line of like you chose the right guy, like he's watching,
Yeah.
like that moment, like because I think there was like a comment, it's like where's old Cap at? Like, why isn't he like stepping in to like and as for her to be like, I don't know, some kind of line or him to show up and be like took you some time, didn't it? But I knew you'd
Yeah.
get there, something, and
Right.
you just give us that chills of like Cap's always watching, and he knew he would get there. He
That
trusts,
would have been
the
even if it
Falcon,
was
and
like even if it was just like behind the head kind of shot where that
yeah,
alluded to old Steve
yeah,
Rogers, that would have been kind
yeah,
of cool, I would say
yeah. I
too.
mean, just like they're sitting on the couch watching the TV, and it's old Cap, and I mean, I don't even know if Peggy Carter. I mean, we saw what happened to her, so it was probably just going to be Chris Evans by himself
Yeah.
on the. But I would have liked to have seen maybe him just like I don't know, something, man. I mean, it would have been
Something.
really good to be like, well, about time, just out loud,
Yeah.
just like Cap's always watching. He'll be there if we need him.
Yeah.
So I thought that would have been pretty cool. I mean, I guess it probably would have been hard to get Chris Evans and then do the de aging stuff, but come on, they got that Disney money. They could have pulled that shit off.
Who do you think Sharon was talking to on the other end of that phone there at the end? She's just
I
getting
assume it was like Madame Hydra or whatever Julia Louis Dreyfus's character's called.
well, so
Uh,
they're saying that things are starting to build up to Armor Wars, which is a series that'll come out next year, and potentially that could be Justin Hammer,
oh,
good old Sammy Rockwell, trying
I'd
to get
love
a
to
hold
have
of some
Sam
of that,
Rockwell come back. He's such
trying
a
to get a
good.
hold of some of that
Love that
Stark
guy.
tech. Yeah,
Yeah,
because I mean he's still alive. Tony's dead, so you know a lot of some of these villains that he faced in Iron Man could show up in these Disney Plus series now because there's somebody needs to
yeah,
kind of fill that void of Tony being gone. And Armor Wars will be cool. It'll be nice to see Don Cheadle kind of get in the spotlight there with some War
yeah.
Machine and whoever else jumps in the mix with them. What else did we have happen in this episode? They had the whole thing with the boat. There's a lot of metaphors in here, really good metaphors that kind of speak to the whole the plight of Sam or not the plight so much, but his journey, his arc, as well as seeing Bucky go throughout the series from like kind of getting away from that Winter Soldier training and kind of finding the hero within, and especially in the end, he's a lot more like he's a lot more considerate of how much he's hurting or not hurting people he's fighting, which I thought was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked Sebastian Stan. I liked Winter
He's
Soldier.
great.
I loved a lot of the family stuff in New Orleans. I thought that stuff was really cool. I like seeing Bucky live again.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
definitely. And freaking Wyatt Russell, U.S. agent. He's the U.S. agent now. Do you
yeah,
his? I feel like his redemption was pretty rushed.
yes,
Could have probably used another episode or yeah, like maybe
yeah,
another episode before the finale. But in a way, I kind of like that, and we can see that they're building to Thunderbolts with Val, with Julia Louis Dreyfus, and um, I think they've actually announced that as a show, possibly. But
nice.
we got Zemo. Zemo will probably head that up. So we haven't seen the last of Daniel Bruhl,
No,
even though he's on the raft. It's just so cool. It was the wrap up. The stuff I loved about the wrap up was the really like the CG stuff, like the action stuff, or like the
yeah,
really
yeah,
like visual Marvel stuff. Or anytime they show the raft or something, it's like, okay, this is cool. When they showed Madripoor and
yeah,
these kind
yeah,
of things, and just like those visual cues, because sometimes the storytelling throughout was kind of iffy or whatever, and stuff seemed really choppy. Certain story cuts, especially the stuff with the flag smashers, and really kind of getting on their side, or seeing from their perspective, I guess.
yeah.
But what else? I was gonna get that picture up so we could look at Wyatt tortured. He was still really twitchy at the end of that episode too. So he's
Yeah.
like, it'll be interesting to see how, because he'll probably be one of the characters that goes into the Thunderbolts,
Yeah.
and become this kind of like anti-hero type of character with the others. So it'll be interesting to see how that kind of, how the super soldier serum is reacting to him and his personality and those tics and things now, because he can stand for good as he is, but there's still those screws loose. He's still a bit of a loose cannon, as they might say in 80s movies.
Well, we ain't got a Wolverine yet. We got someone that got to go in there and do all the hard lifting.
Yeah. So overall, Falcon and Winter Soldier, what would you say you would rate that out of 10?
I don't know. I didn't think about this. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. That comes to mind. Maybe a 7.5. I think it hits all the Marvel stuff that I want to see. And like I said, I'll always be there for a Marvel show or anything Marvel puts out, unless it's by like a really unless like Bryan Singer directs a Marvel movie, then I won't see it because no.
Yeah, we're over
Uh,
that.
yeah. So yeah, probably a 7.5 out of 10. I mean, I'm glad Anthony Mackie's capped now. I love Chris Evans, but it's time to move on. It's time to move forward.
Yeah.
I think they set up a lot of really cool stuff to come. Yeah, I mean, I'd watch a second season of this. I know a lot of these are going to be like one season standoffs kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So is that like a legit poster?
I don't
No.
think so.
Yeah.
I saw it. It looks very Photoshopped. This actually looked
Yeah.
like Tobey Maguire there for a second.
Yeah, that's how I was like.
What the hell? But
I mean,
it
it's a
looked
cool concept of what a poster could be.
I think I would go ahead and give it probably, what do you say, 7? I'd probably give it an 8. I feel like I maybe enjoyed it a little bit more than you were throughout.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say it did it for me. Every Friday I was like really excited to kind of, when I got to set aside the time and watch it and really enjoy it. So Fridays have been really good with Falcon, Winter Soldier, and Invincible. So yeah, I'd say an 8. What's that? A 7.5 average there. Not
Probably.
bad, Marvel. Keep it coming.
Yeah.
Try a little harder if you can. Well, I don't want to say
Stoked
try
for
harder,
Loki.
but, yeah, Loki. We got 6-7 weeks till Loki. Loki will be cool. I'm really excited for the what if stuff too. Like at this point, being superhero slam and all. At this point, I want to see all of it. I'm really excited to just see what they have in store in terms of like Eternals, what if, like whatever's coming out of Marvel.
I'm really
is really fun right now.
And the Black Widow movie, Superhero Slam's got to cover that.
Yeah, I can't wait for Black Widow. That's going to be awesome. And that'll probably be one of our return to the theater kind of situations.
Yeah.
It has to be because it's not going to be on release.
No, they are. You're going to have to pay for it, though. It's like $30.
Oh, okay. I might still do that, but we'll see where we're at then. It would be nice to go to the theaters. I was driving around in the car the other day, and I was just like, holy shit, like, I don't even know what that is anymore. I don't even know what that experience is like anymore. So we'll definitely, on our shows, our respective Superhero and Overly Critical Live, we'll be covering what the reinstatement of film culture is like and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be a movie club without that kind of thing, I suppose. And I'm excited for theater, going back to theaters and stuff. Yeah, it'll be good.
Cool.
In other words, so that's Falcon and Winter Soldier for you this season. We'll keep this one probably pretty short, but we really enjoyed it and stuff. More Marvel stuff to come. The Loki stuff is looking really great. All those trailers have looked awesome. Bunch of movies to look forward. We got Shang-Chi's coming. Woo. Shang-Chi. We got new Doctor Strange coming. We got a new Spider-Man coming. The Eternals. Shit. What else? Black Panther 2's on the horizon.
Marvel got us ready.
Yeah, and it's cool, man. Like the whole thing is like I can understand for a lot of people like the superhero fatigue or people getting sick of superhero movies or whatever, but it's just like, man, it is kind of a relentless onslaught of awesome
I feel like
for us kind of fans.
But I feel like we had a year off in 2020. Nothing really came out when it was supposed to.
Yeah.
All this stuff got pushed back. I mean, it's going to feel more like that this year, I think, because we are going to get all this stuff. But I think they're doing a good thing of like spacing out from like WandaVision to Winter Soldier, then when Loki comes out.
We also got, like stuff like Invincible and The Boys and, even the Old Guard and like Netflix is
Jupiter's Legacy.
Jupiter's Legacy. We got, what's
Comes
that
out
one with,
next week.
created by the guy from that band, The
Uh
Umbrella
oh,
Academy.
yeah,
I haven't watched that, but I hear it's pretty good.
it's good.
Yeah,
I
I'll
enjoy
have to
it.
watch that. We'll start covering more of that stuff too, because I really want to get into it. Netflix is doing cool, and like some of these streaming services, we got stuff like, what do we have right now with Melissa McCarthy, the Thunder Force, and
Yeah, I
I
heard
don't
not
know,
good
I don't really have
things.
anything to say about it. Is it good?
I didn't watch it.
Oh,
I
okay.
heard the reviews were basically like these actors deserve a better movie, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
So,
but it's interesting to see how like the film industry is reacting to like some of the licensed properties and stuff, because then
mhm.
you have like Project Power with Jamie Foxx and
I
God, it
didn't
just
see
seemed
that
like,
either.
yeah, I didn't watch that one either. I heard that one's pretty good. It's interesting to see like the superhero franchise as kind of defined or designed outside of Marvel and DC or Image or something. It could be really funny. It could be really
Yeah,
bad too. But I like this. The age of the superhero. I mean, it's so we love it. I don't know. Maybe there's some kind of like underlying modern mythology kind of thing going on for us, but I think superheroes are cool.
yeah, I agree.
But so yeah, Falcon and Winter Soldier. That was that. We got one more episode of Invincible before it ends on Friday. How have you been enjoying
No.
Invincible
Oh,
thus
dude.
far? Being somebody
You know,
new to the
I think I might like Falcon and Winter Soldier more if there wasn't an Invincible show on right now. Uh,
yeah,
because like I get so stoked for Invincible. I think it's so compelling. I love everything that's happening in it. It all makes sense. I mean, I'm new to the
yeah,
world, so I can't like even, I have like my own theories what I think is going to happen, but
mm-hmm.
I like that I don't know anything about it. I definitely want to pick up like some of the trades after this is over to like
Yeah,
kind of dive more into the world because you were saying something on Messenger the other day about a science and a seance dog, and I was like,
oh yeah.
yeah, I don't even
No frame
know
of
that.
reference.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even know, but I'm sure we'll get something so cool, whatever. But I love it, dude. I love it so much. I just like ticking all the boxes that just Winter Soldier did not. I
Yeah,
just think it has more heart. I think
yeah,
the voice acting's
definitely.
great. I definitely didn't think I was like I cared about characters, and then they'll start getting beat up, and I'm like, oh my god, I
Yeah,
don't know if I'm ready for this because it's Kirkman, so it's
it
Walking
has
Dead. Like
this. Yeah,
anybody can go at any point,
yeah.
and there
It's
was
very
a couple
severe.
episodes ago, like Monster Girl got really messed up, and I was really worried because I like her character. I like that she has
Yeah,
this curse that she can turn this monster, and then it also ages her, and she'll eventually be an infant at some point. You
yeah.
know, robot
The,
storyline is really cool, really intriguing.
yeah,
I just love all the, and it's maybe more misdirection for me because I haven't read the comics, whereas you're like,
uh-huh.
oh, I know kind of where this is going to go. But I love the
Well,
ride, man. I love it. It's a roller
yeah.
coaster for me, and I'm on it, and I
The
don't want to
cool
get off.
Yeah, the cool thing about it is he initially had like, up to about the middle of the series, he decided to do kind of like a tongue-in-cheek kind of self-referential reboot of the
Mm,
character in its own universe and stuff. And so he did that using, like a interesting comic book kind of science, pseudosciences and stuff to kind of reboot his own story, and
mm-hmm.
then streamlined it on from there. But then now, as the show has come, this is like the third telling of this story for him in a way. So I think in interviews and stuff, he's talked about how it's been, he can like kind of zero in on the important arcs and the important moments. And so what we're seeing now from a fan of the comics perspective is he's lined up a lot of really important storylines really quickly and kind of cut out some of the filler stuff that you end up getting in the comics. The other
Mm-hmm.
cool thing is too is like, definitely for the audience out there, yourself and anybody else, read the comics after the fact too, because you won't be sorry. There's so much that didn't end up in the show that is just really worth checking out. And Kirkman is a mad genius. Cory Walker is one of the best artists ever. And so the show now is going, it's set up a lot of these really pivotal arcs. So just already it's like a good show when it's just like you're kind of pissed when the first season ends, because you
Yeah.
gotta wait. Because I just feel, not even that I know exactly what's going to happen coming up. I know a few things, but the way that Kirkman's telling the story is kind of like there's a lot of new stuff for the fan as well in terms of the way he's telling it. So it's like it's been a really amazing ride, and like I think this is the best superhero stuff since The Boys. You know,
Yeah.
and it treads some of the same territory, but it's really not at all as like cynical a take as like The Boys or Watchmen and that kind of thing. So it's really interesting to see, like, you know, Mark is a real icon of like hope and heroism, the way that Superman was, I think. And
Hmm.
Mark Grayson is just like the new generation Superman. He's kind of sitting in the throne where Superman probably should be in terms of his superherodom. But, you
Hmm.
know, that's a testament to the storytelling of Invincible and Kirkman, is that you know, they take a lot, you know, it wouldn't be exist if it wasn't for Marvel and DC, but the way that he's gone to kind of like update and contemporize these superhero dilemmas and things like that is really quite brilliant. And so, I mean, you know, just trying to sell you on it here, folks, but definitely go watch it if you have not watched it. If you like cartoons and superheroes and stuff, I mean, if you like superheroes, you probably wouldn't be here watching this. So go watch it if you haven't. So this last episode, before we headed into the finale, let's see what happened. We had
He finds out
Cecil
about
tried to,
Papa.
yeah. So basically, everybody knows that Omni Man killed the Guardians of the Globe, and
But we don't know why. Why'd he do it?
yeah,
Don't tell
we
me.
don't exactly know. I think we have some of an idea at this point,
I don't have any
because of
idea. He hasn't said anything.
so Nolan has explained certain things to his family and to people that they've shined a light on, kind of. Anyway, we don't really know what's going to happen in the story yet, right? Okay. So so in this episode we have Omni-Man is kind of on, he's kind of trying to plug up the holes that are flood, like spraying open at this point, in terms of like getting to his son as fast as he can before his son finds out all this shit. His marriage is falling apart. Nolan right now for this season is the big bad, you know, but there's
Yeah.
so much about him and J.K. Simmons' portrayal that is like just really heartfelt, you know. And there's a great thing about this particular character is that because of his alienness and because of who he is and where this story will go in the show, I'm assuming, it's really about how alien he is to Earth, that he's feeling conflicted now. And, you know, hopefully they build more of that into the show, and I'm sure they will. But it really shows how, like, just because he looks like us and is a protector of the planet and everything, there's still certain things about where he came from that kind of become, I would say, like a roadblock in his journey to getting more to humanity, where somebody like Mark was raised on the planet and he's much more human than he is Viltrumite, which is their race. But he's also, you know, there's a line in this last episode where Cecil's like throwing every big weapon they can possibly do at Omni-Man. He's just slapping them out of the way as quickly as they show up. So let me pull up a picture of Omni-Man real quick. I feel like that'd be good.
You know, one of my favorite things about this show is they tie in the name of the title. They put it in the dialogue, and
Oh,
it's
I
like
love that.
you're, and it'll be like Invincible, and
Yeah, I love
it's
that.
it's cheesy, but it's so good. Every time I'm just like, yes, I'm watching an episode of Invincible. Let's get ready. You know, I'm like so
Yeah.
stoked when that title screen comes on, and
There's even
I
an
love it.
episode like I want to say like maybe 2 or 3 episodes in, and there's like like 20, like almost 10-15 minutes passes before it hits, and then it kind of takes you by surprise and then goes to like
Yeah,
whatever
I
their
love it.
break is. Yeah, it's so awesome. I'm trying to pull up a cool picture of Omni-Meezy, but it's just not doing it for me. There we go. Yeah, and so this last episode, I think the end of this episode was like, we need to talk. I'm kind of working backwards here, but he finally meets up with Mark. They team up together to take down this massive beast thing. I mean, I'm only spoiling it now because I'm in assumption that some of you in the audience have seen it and you're coming here to show up and listen to us talk about it. But you know, they team up in that moment, but it's like you know, Mark still believes his father's this hero, and he's like going in there and joining the fight, where on the opposite side of the coin, Cecil is there throwing these threats at him and everything. And so
Yeah.
it just, the pacing and the execution of each episode. I like the licensed music and stuff too. I like how this looks in a way like our Saturday morning cartoons. It's like almost exactly the same production team that does Young Justice.
Yeah.
Which some people will probably notice from the animation style and everything. But so it has, comes from a long line of like Saturday morning cartoon superhero stuff. And it's just really great to see how I love cartoons. I love action figures and nerdy stuff, but these things are growing up with us, and these shows right now, we're watching a ton of superhero stuff, but they have all these metaphors and stuff for the things that we go through as people and all this kind of stuff, which is what makes them all compelling. And Invincible is like a gem in that regard. Like after this season, going into next season, like there's going to be a live action movie of this here soon. And it really is for our age now. There's a lot to be said about Batman, Superman, even Marvel characters like we're seeing with the Avengers and the X-Men we'll be seeing soon and stuff. But for my money, this Invincible game is probably the best superhero stuff that has been out there for a while.
I know. I remember you talking about this in college, and I was like, "Gosh, Stefan."
The series originally came out in 2003.
And I was just like, "Get over it, Stefan. It can't be that good." You know who was wrong? This guy. This guy was wrong, and is really, really late to the party. But I will get caught up, and by season 2, I'll know everything. I don't even know if I want to read it until the show's done. I don't want to. I want everything to be.
Yeah.
I love I'm usually so up on this stuff that I'm like, oh, they'll probably do this. Or like a Star Wars movie comes out, and if it's based on anything, I'm like, oh, they're probably going to do this. Or if it's an X-Men movie, I'm like, oh, they're telling it from this storyline. And I'm kind of always like, I know enough to know what might happen in those movies. And it's just nice to have that one property that comes out, kind of like The Boys. I've never read The Boys either. Yeah. And maybe I should have read these comics. I should have jumped on board when Stefan was rolling by on the train. It was like, Matty, and I just said, no. And I saw the tears in your eyes, and I just turned around and walked away. I was like, I'll take my Walking Dead comics. Thank you.
Yeah. I have since acquired my collection of Invincible digitally, but for a good while there, and I think I may even still have these in storage somewhere, but I had like the first 16 books.
I remember you having them. Yeah.
That was like, where
I think
are
that's
those?
why
That's like my prized possession.
You had them in Chicago, right? I think so.
Fuck. I may have sold
I mean,
them
I
too,
remember
even,
seeing
like,
them and you're like, you should read this. And I saw all of them and I was like, oh, yeah, that's a lot to read.
I'm hoping they're in storage, but I may have sold those.
And you should go look for them and then send them all to me. And then I'll send them all back. I'm just kidding. That's
Invincible.
a lot. That'd be a lot of money. I could probably just go buy them for the amount that you'd have to send them to me.
Yeah, definitely. There's some good. I guess the omnibuses are really good. So collecting those at this juncture are good because you just get a big fat helping of Invincible each time.
Dude, I'm all digital, baby. I'm just gonna.
Okay, so
just gonna buy them through Kindle or something, or
yeah, that's what I do. Since I have my iPad, it's like so great to read comics on the iPad. So
yeah,
I love it.
I love it because it's cheap to get into some of these older runs that are either out of print or they're like $30 because they've reprinted it so many times, and it's like you can only get it in the hardbound edition with a new cover. And I'm like, dude, I just want to read the stories, man. I mean, the cover's cool. I love the artist that did it, but I just want to read the stories.
Yeah,
so
they're good. Yeah, so with everything that's happened in the Invincible season so far. And what's the talk that they're about to have? I think we have seen that image where Mark is all beat up and his dad's floating in the background or whatever. But from somebody who hasn't read the comics or anything, like what do you kind of think? What are your predictions for next season?
I mean,
next episode.
I mean, I assume that Invincible is going to fight his dad. I mean, that's kind of what I want to happen, but. I don't want him to because I know his dad's stronger than he is. But I do think that there's a wildness to Invincible that I don't think his dad is ready for. Mm-hmm. He's a very passionate young man as well, and where his father seems kind of jaded by the world, and maybe another thing real quick. I loved how the Guardians of the Globe 2. Or the new Guardians, whatever they're called in the show. I love how they're just on standby and they're just all like, I don't want to go, because it's like, it's Omni-Man. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. I think they might come help Mark because they're like, dude, he can't do this on his own. It's going to take all of us.
Yeah.
And the girl that is the superhero, I'm totally blanking on her name.
Adam Eve.
Yeah. I think she'll probably show up to help. I
Yeah, she's
think,
great.
if this big knockdown drag out does happen, I don't really want to see him kill his dad, though. I think that might be like
Yeah,
too much for me because I do
yeah.
like Omni-Man. I do want to know why he took out the Guardians of the Globe. I like that. What's the immortal guy's name? And dude, I'm
Immortal. Yeah,
terrible.
Immortal. Yeah,
Yeah, I'm terrible
yeah.
with names.
That
Like I
was
haven't had the
cool.
comics, so I know them all. It's just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
One of the
But
cool things
oh,
that
dude,
they. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I assume he took them out because at some point he's seeing that they will become a threat, kind of like Batman's always prepared if the Justice League goes bad or something.
Yeah.
Because I haven't picked up on the hints or anything because I'm just so like paying more attention to another side of the story. I'm sure if I go back and rewatch this after
Yeah.
it's all over, I'm like, you idiot, it's right there. That's why he did it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
to
He's
me,
telling
it
it.
hasn't clicked for me. So
They're telling it interesting. So, like, even for someone like me, it's like I don't really exactly know how things are going to play out, um, but I think yeah, definitely like the fight has kind of been set up, and then like really, if you think about the whole season, it's been really well rounded. They've stuck to like these really core themes and kind of executed scene after scene to kind of get you this moment because it's not just Mark fighting a bad guy; it's him fighting his
dude,
father potentially,
yeah.
and like and the both the emotional conflict that exists in both of them, and it's just like really masterful storytelling. I mean, for a cartoon, come on, people. It's
Dude,
good.
I like don't like I remember this last episode like Brock came in my room and he was like talking. I was trying to watch it and he like just had like a day, and needed to talk to
Yeah.
his bud and I get it.
Yeah.
But I was so locked in, I was like looking at him like and the show was still playing and I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
pause this. My boy needs
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
And then it's just like it's one of those shows where I just like get so locked in that I want to see it all the way through. I don't want to pause. And you
Yeah.
know, in a day
So
and age
good.
where I like watch a lot of stuff and I've seen a lot of films and I'll put something on, I can just like go to my phone and be like, yeah, this is boring. I kind of know what's gonna happen with these characters. For something to really lock me in these days is kind of hard to do. I
Yeah.
just noticed myself glancing at my phone a lot more than I used to, and that's probably
Yeah.
because I'm viewing a lot of this stuff from home and
Yeah.
not going to the theater because I do have that respect of you've paid money for this. I'm not going to ruin
Right.
your experience. And that's a whole other subject
Yeah.
we get into, but that's how
Absolutely.
enamored I am with the show. I just I need to see what happens next, and I
I'm
want
so
that fight to
glad.
happen, but I don't want to see Omni Man die. But I also want to just see how gory it could be. It's
Yeah.
just there's a lot of emotions running through me. I'm super
Yeah.
excited. I wish there were more episodes left. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
I
love
want
it. I'm a fan.
there was one moment that there's a lot of cool things the way that they've taken from the comic and certain things they left out, certain things that they took that almost like mirror that. I'm not gonna go run a list down of all those things right
We'll
now,
deep
but
dive it
like
when we're done.
yeah, we'll have to deep dive it. And there's other, cool YouTube videos, not to send you to another channel, but there's great breakdowns of the whole
No, you got to
thing.
come
So,
back here because I'm going to be as excited as you are to find
yeah,
out all this stuff because I'm not going to do any of the
yeah.
research.
But one of the, yeah, that's true.
And
But one of
Stefan
the
knows half
cool,
of it already.
yeah, one of the cool things, like Immortal, how they show him come from like being like this near basically like a caveman or whatever, and they show his trajectory
Oh,
throughout
so good.
time. And then he was like Abraham Lincoln at one point. He was like King Arthur at one point or some shit. And it's just like
Yeah.
really cool how they did in the cartoon and reflects almost directly from the comic, that whole thing. And I really loved that aspect of it because he is immortal, and they put that to the test in the comic series like time and time again. And
Yeah.
it's just as
So
that's
we
what's
haven't
great
seen the last of him yet, have we?
I would say no. Yeah, I don't know how they're planning for the cartoon, but I would say no. I mean, he is the immortal for a reason, and that's one of the cool things too about the sometimes Kirkman is making these characters to just be like kind of jokes, but he take the joke after the punchline. There's actually a really great story behind each one of these characters.
Oh, dude.
There's
I
a
mean,
there's a villain called Tether Tyrant that was in the previous episode when they had to fight. Machine had set up that whole fight and fucked them all up. The Tether
yeah.
Tyrant has those weird tethers out of his chest, but he has a really kind of a evocative story as well. I'm not sure if I used that word right, but he's got a really good story as well, and he's just like seems like a side villain for now or whatever. But
Yeah. The only thing, like, so I was trying to think of, like, if he didn't fight his dad, who would come back? And the only thing I can think of is the lion battle. What's his name? Is it Battle
Battle
Beast?
Beast, yeah, it's
Yeah,
Michael
that's the only
Dorn.
thing
It's
that I think
Worf.
that like could come back is like he could show up because it's Omni Man, and it's like
Yeah,
he seems to only want to fight the strongest of the strong. So
yeah.
that's a
and that's
random like something that could be thrown in there. I think it'd be a little
yeah,
weird, but it's the
that
only other
is
thing I could think that would happen
yeah,
that I would
that
like to
is
see a conclusion to or some redemption, I guess.
yeah. That's one thing that was like a criticism I saw of the episode is like why Cecil didn't have the means to like contact Battle Beast as one of the threats. But he would have
Yeah.
probably put him down, honestly. Like Battle Beast is no joke in the comic book series. And then also that monster that they end up fighting is not the same monster from the comics, but it's I forget it's called Mother something in the show, which was a really interesting name. But
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's
I
I
forgot what
love
it
some of
was.
the names. They're just
Yeah,
like, what are we gonna call this thing? Well, he's a beast and he has a battle axe, battle
yeah,
beast. I'm like, yeah. It's like me naming something like when I'm typing it on Photoshop. I'm like,
yeah,
what is this? It's got a like a warlock and it's a frog warlock. That's like what I call it.
yeah.
And that's
Boom.
probably what it'll be like on Instagram too.
That's
So,
a funny thing. I do that too, for titles and names of things.
Yeah.
But the cool thing about this series and why I'm really excited, and I hope like I'm certain at this point it'll get a second season. It just feels like it's already a hit.
I feel like people, I mean, I haven't read a lot of reviews, but like people
Yeah.
at work who are watching it seem to love it. So,
Yeah, I joined on Facebook immediately, like a couple Invincible groups and stuff. So just like seeing people what they have to say on there and everything is really pretty interesting. Or not that it's interesting, but it's cool. Yeah, it's interesting. It's cool to see everybody getting excited over Invincible, and like I said, it's something
yeah.
I've been super excited about for a long time. But I'm most excited because the Mark is like invincible, and they constantly put that whole thing to that whole concept to the test, whether or not is he really. That's what's so great about the comic and the show and everything is like the title, the name in of itself is something that he also like. It's not guaranteed as far as he strives for time and the threats that he ends for somebody being as invincible as he is. The threats that come at him are like so intense, like Battle Beast and the Viltrumite or his race and everything, and Alan the alien who he's friends with and all that, who we saw once so far. Oh, there's so much that is just so great in this particular mythology, these comics and stuff. So I'm exceptionally excited. I'm so excited for a lot of people that are as excited as I am now watching it, especially like friends like you, I think, and then another friend were like, "Thank you for, like, I mean, you would have watched it probably anyway."
The thing that I appreciate the most from you through all of this is you've never been like, I've told you so. You're a
Right? Yeah.
fool. You're like, Matty will get to it when he gets to it. I believe in
Yeah.
him. It did take a cartoon to get me there, but I like that I'm like, some fandom can be like, well, you're an idiot. I've been reading this for years.
Right.
Stefan just like, come on aboard, man. I've been
Yeah.
waiting. It's got a
Yeah.
spot right here for you. Sit down. Let's talk. And
And that
I
and
appreciate it.
I want to address Andrew from Superhero Stuff You Should Know directly,
Go.
because I keep pestering him about watching Warrior. That's now on HBO Max. I just got a third season. Go watch that shit if you have not watched
Everyone
it.
should watch it. It's
But
amazing.
it's not because I want him to know that I know that there's some great show out there. I want to have that fandom with my buddy. I
Yeah.
feel like it's a show he's really going to love. But it's that same thing. It's like if I'm trying to get you to watch something to like an annoying degree, it's not because, I want to say I told you so or gloat about having prior knowledge of it. It's like I just need to share it with you. I want to share those looks like, oh, shit, did you see that? From across the room or across the internets or whatever. So this is a public live plea. Andrew, please go watch Warrior so we can talk about it already.
Shame. I mean,
and Invincible and the boys for Andrew.
Side
He works hard,
tangent.
though, so
Yeah.
we go.
Side tangent is Andrew should be watching a lot of stuff that he has never seen before and should just
Yeah.
listen to all of us.
Yeah.
But I get it. We all get on our kicks of our certain things we're in the mood for, and maybe it's just not his time, man. I'd much rather him
True.
watch it when he's ready than to watch it and go, it's all right.
I know, that's what I fear too.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
why I feel the need to know exactly what he thinks about it, but I do.
I will say this. Whenever I recommend something to Andrew and Joey, who was previous of Superhero Stuff You Should Know,
Joey, what up?
you all know. You know who we are at this point. We've been around forever, right? I always I'm like, oh my God, they're going to hate it. I feel like when it's me and you, I'd be like, Stefan, you got to check this out. And you're going to be like, then you watch it. And like with Empty Man, I think it was like we started talking about it a little more and then you got into it. But I thought it would be something that like I can just I know stuff that you'll be into. And I feel like when you were telling me to read Invincible, you're like, you're totally going to love this. And damn it, stupid me was just couldn't jump on board. Never again, Stefan. What do you got for me? I'm ready for some recommendations.
um. Oh, okay. Hey, let's do that actually, because I'm pretty much done with what
I
I
mean,
had planned for.
we could talk for another hour about how much we love Invincible, but I'm ready. I
Oh, I
got I'm
deleted it. Worth your time. That's what I was trying to find. Worth your time. This is our recommendation section. This is a real fast and loose version of superhero stuff, or super. Sorry, superhero stuff, guys. Superhero slam. Um, Not to step on any toes, but we felt the need to have our own superhero club. What is worth your time? What are we talking about again? Comics,
I was looking for
things
those
that you need to
recommendations.
watch. Okay, I was just thinking of something earlier. Damn it, what was it? Oh, I was gonna say I think Matty would really like this. I don't know. I kind of fell on the spot now, and nothing's coming to mind. Do you have anything for the peeps out there? Well, I think
So, are we only doing superhero stuff?
yeah, fast and loose. You can, whatever.
All right, so I got a comic. I'm trying to get up the info real quick. It's not like an action superhero
Mm-hmm.
crazy comic, but it is called House of Penance. It's by
Nice.
Peter J. Tomasi, I guess is how you say it. I'm really bad at this. And Ian Bertram. He's one of my. Just recently, he did a comic called Little Bird, which is really sick, and I think you would like it, Stefan.
What's the comic called again?
It's called House of Penance.
Let's see if we can't get a cover for the
And I'm
viewer.
working on a poster. I kind of styled the front cover of the book after for a friend of mine because I thought it was a really cool image, and I think it really like lent to what I was trying to accomplish with
Uh huh.
it. But I changed up
Cool.
some stuff just to make it my own, and I'm going to add a bunch of other colors. But it's basically a retelling of the Winchester House. If you don't know what that is, it's a
I don't.
the Winchester House is a house that has like stairways leading to nothing, doors open to nowhere, they open to
Okay. Yeah.
outside. And she was like, I think her name's Mary Winchester. I just read this comic. I'm terrible. It's like I need to
Uh huh.
eat. I'm getting hangry at this point, but I'm
Oh shit.
keeping it together for the people. I should have had a little snacky before I did this, but I did not. Um,
That's what we
but it's
do out
basically
here.
about her retelling. She like lost her husband and her kid, and it's she started building this house because spirits told her to, and it's a weird telling of this story, like of her
Uh
story and
huh.
like what if, and it's really cool. I love the artist. A lot of people aren't into his style. He kind of like makes people's faces look weird, and he's like the knuckles are just so protruding. It's definitely like a Matty style. Like
Okay.
I
Yeah.
definitely am like drawn to it because of the
The
style and stuff.
eccentricity.
Yeah, so yeah, it's really good. It's interesting. It's kind of dark. Yeah, I mean, it's my thing. I would also read Little Bird. It's a different writer, can't think of it. But Ian Bertram did the artwork for Little Bird. I think Stefan, you'd really like that comic.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Little
I
bird.
I honestly was reading it and I was like, man, if someone gave Stefan a comic and said adapt this into a movie, I think you do a
Hey.
really good job of
Yeah.
adapting
Exactly.
it. And so someone give him that.
Nice.
And then
Here.
real quick, I rewatched The Nun. I got it on Blu-ray. It's Corin
Okay.
Hardy.
Nice.
He's one of my favorite. Like he's an Irish director. He did The
Yeah.
Hallow, which is
Right.
one of my favorite. And The Nun is not great, but it does have a lot of cool stuff in it. A lot of creepy imagery, and I feel like a studio. I don't want to say James Wan got involved, but I feel like there was a little bit of James Wan had to come in and kind of course correct a little bit or something like that
Okay.
went
Yeah.
on. I tried to research it and nothing popped up. They may have deleted it, but it's an interesting film, and I think it's one of the better. It's not a Conjuring film; it's in that universe. But I
Uh
think
huh.
it's a really good one. The only other one I like is
Cool. I'm gonna watch
Annabelle.
that.
Yeah, but The Nun is cool. It's got some good moments. It's very schlocky, very B movie at times. There's a lot of jump scares in it, which is really threw me off guard the first time I watched it because I don't feel like there's a lot of jump scares in The Hallow. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like that was more of a studio thing. But I rewatched The Nun. I think it's worth a revisit. And then I also,
Okay.
because Stefan just watched it recently, for the second viewing, rewatched The Invisible Man,
Yeah.
which
That was good.
which is a great movie. And upon second viewing, it's even better. And I'm super excited for his version of the Wolfman. I hope
Yes.
there's going to be some kind of universe they kind of get all these people together for some kind of event movie. Would be
Yeah.
cool. I don't know. Elizabeth Moss and I think Ryan Gosling's attached to the Wolfman. I feel like maybe there's some
Yeah.
heavy hitters we won't
I
get
think he'd
for
be
a
cool.
big film like that, but you never know. Maybe
Yeah.
everybody's itching to do some cool stuff since quarantine because everybody had to quarantine. even
Yeah.
those famous folk for the most part.
Nice. Yeah, those
Sorry,
sound good. I'm gonna check
trying
out
to
the
run through
Nun.
it all real quick.
No, I'm glad you did because as you
Yeah,
were talking, I was like, oh wait, I do have a couple things to recommend here
nice.
before we go out.
I saw
And
that Berserker pop up, so I'm
yeah, so
interested.
in sticking with superhero slam comic books and stuff like that, this is a good we do recommendations on the regular show. And here, why not do the same or whatever? But this comic Berserker, it's one issue has been out, maybe two now. It's created by Keanu Reeves and Matt Kint, drawn by Ron Garney and Bill Crabtree. Bill Crabtree worked on
And
Walking Dead.
Raphael Grandpa did the cover,
Yeah,
or one of them. I don't know if it's this one. It
this
kind of
one
looks like his art.
is Raphael Grandpa right here.
Yeah, I
Awesome,
love his
man,
art.
super
So
cool.
good.
Ron Garney's art on the interiors are really good too. So I've just
Yeah,
read the first issue. It's a very cool, as you can see here, super violent. This is so for those who are wondering what Keanu's going to do after or in between John Wick's. They're setting up this Berserker to be his next property. So I'm
nice.
super excited about it. He
But he
has
ain't
much
that
more of
big
a
though. Look at those muscles. Those aren't Keanu
he's
muscles.
6 something. So I don't know. Maybe as he's getting older, he'll be able to. I mean, I'm certain he can. We'll see. Yeah, I think he can probably pull it off.
I haven't
Maybe
read
they'll
it,
beef
but
him up.
as soon
But
as he said he was writing a comic, I was like, sold. I'm just gonna wait for the volume one trade
yeah,
to come out,
he-
and I can't wait to see the movie version.
yeah,
I haven't even read it.
he's got a much more of a hand in like the creation of it and everything conceptually, and so it looks really cool. And I'd be interested to see what your thoughts are on the comic, the first issue. Maybe it could be something we could do to talk about each issue and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not
Superhero
really.
Slam, we're not committed to the TV for this show.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
that would be cool. I'm down to do that as a group thing. I'll buy those issues digitally for sure. I think I'm like
yeah.
$2. I can afford $2, right?
Oh hell yeah! So I got
Maybe.
another one here. Hang on one second.
I do want to
So
read it. I'm usually a wait for the trades kind of guy, but I'll do anything for this podcast. Ooh,
so
I
this
love
comic,
Jason Aaron.
Jason Aaron Armgara, they wrote another comic that I just started called Scalped, which is really great.
Yeah, I know
But
of it.
this
Haven't read it.
book, if you haven't read this book or heard of it, The Goddamned, it's awesome, man. It is such a
Nice.
cool. It's like a brutalist look at like biblical kind of stories and really kind of portraying Old Testament era kind of stories and characters in the most brutal possible way is I guess the best way I can say it. This guy
Yeah,
you see, right, the main character in the first book is Cain, and he's like
yeah,
immortal now because of his sin or whatever. And so the way they portray like Moses and the Jews in the desert and stuff, it's just such a wild different take on what you would think of
yeah.
biblical stories. Lots of swearing, lots of violence, like in typical indie comic fashion. But it's a fantastic book. Not
Oh, I
only
might
that,
pick
but
that up tonight. I'm sold.
oh, I love it so much. It's so good. But not only that, they released. Let me pull this one up real quick. They
Did you ever
released.
read Southern Bastards by Jason Aaron?
No, I read the goddamn. That's it, and then I started reading
Did you?
Scalped. So he's kind of new to me.
I never read Southern Bastards all the way through. I read like 3 volumes. Joey had some when I was visiting LA, and I just ran through what he had. Really good. It's really like racist and like hard to read at times,
Right.
but
Yeah.
the story's really compelling. The art's great, and then he did a Wolverine Goes to Hell run, which I
Yeah.
loved.
Yeah. I
I
remember that.
love that whole run that he did with Wolverine. It's such a cool like Wolverine fighting through hell, and like Ghost Riders like have to demons pop up in his body, and he starts like killing off people he knows, and like a
Ugh.
group of Ghost Riders show up to try to like drag that demon back to hell, but his body needs to stay on Earth so Wolverine can get back to it.
Yeah.
So good, man. I just
R.M. Guerra
that's
did
when
it?
I Jason Aaron did
Jason Aaron,
the
my bad.
he
Sorry.
wrote it.
R.M.
I
Guerra's the
don't
artist.
I know Jay
Cool.
Lee did. I know Jay Lee did some of the
Okay.
covers.
I gotta read
I
that.
love his artwork, but
That sounds
dude, such a
awesome.
good. I think it's like Wolverine Goes to Hell, then Wolverine versus the X-Men, and then there's like Wolverine something. So they don't all. It's not all like Wolverine Goes to Hell, but you can look up the run. I think they might have done a
Cool.
collected volume of all of that run.
Nice.
I don't think they have it on Kindle yet, but I think there's like a hardback or something edition that's pretty expensive right now that just came out, if I remember it correctly.
Cool.
But
Yeah. Well, Jason Aaron's fucking awesome. So,
yeah,
so that book was the first book, and this one just came out very recently. The Goddamned, the Virgin Brides,
hmm
and the Virgin Brides is I think there's 4 issues in this tale, and it's This one's more
This artwork's
feminine.
incredible.
Oh my God, RM
Is
Guerra
this
is
the
amazing.
is
Yeah,
this inside as well?
yeah, yeah.
Because
He's incredible.
You know how Matty feels about cover to inside artwork. Sometimes it
Yeah,
turns me
right.
off.
Right. No, the same artist, same artist. So this is the second book, and this one's a different characters in this one. So I'm not sure what the overall series is they got planned for it or whatever. But this one came out more recently than that last one I showed you. But yeah, definitely get a hold of the Goddamned. It's great. I've been trying to sell Andrew on that one for a while too, because we're always talking like, biblical mythology and stuff. I'm the guy who likes Noah and Mother and what's the other
Yeah,
one?
I honestly the only reason I want to rewatch Noah and I'm
I
just
like
waiting for it to
apocryphal.
pop up on something is because you're such a fan of it. And I remember
Mm.
I kind of wrote it off, but I definitely want to give it
Have you
a
ever seen it?
second.
Oh, you
Yeah, I
have seen
saw
it.
it.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
I'm
long.
showing up for
It's
an Aronofsky film anytime an
yeah,
Aronofsky film drops because I
yeah.
think he's a
I
talented filmmaker. I'm not going to agree
yeah.
with everything he does, but
I
and
also
I don't
watched.
need to look at my phone, but I need to type in the goddamn because I want to read it.
Okay, yeah,
So
no, that's
go ahead
great.
and talk away, Stefan.
I also like Russell Crowe. He's plays Noah in that movie, but I just watched Unhinged and like
Oh yeah,
Unhinged. It's awesome. Very solid movie. Definitely worth your time. I pointed to the banner. But that movie was really cool, and I really respect Russell Crowe. Sometimes I think they're in the mid 2000s or whatever. He was getting kind of like real surly or just I don't know what it was, but there's something turning me off about Russell Crowe for a
I
while. But
think he
I
just
actually
got
really like
tired
him.
of. I think he got tired of just acting and having to like put it like be in that like gladiator shape for every movie because he definitely gained a lot of weight. And that's
Yeah,
fine.
dude,
He's
he
comfortable in
looks
his body, and I can get behind that.
he's
But
big in
yeah,
the
I've always liked
unhinged.
him as an actor. Yeah, I,
He's
I
very
want to watch
puffy.
it. It's just one of those, I'll get to it kind of
What else?
films.
I feel like I
And
watched.
after you said it, I was like, oh, we're gonna talk about Unhinged. I'll watch Unhinged. Give me a
Yeah.
reason. Give me a
Well,
reason to watch
we
it.
maybe we should review that one here
Yeah,
coming
that'll be
soon.
fun.
Uh, but that's I
You
think what
think
I
it's gonna
got
be
more or
a
less
cult
for.
classic?
I wouldn't say it'll turn up in our classics so much as it deserves a
I
review.
mean, just in the world. Do you think people are
Oh,
gonna like I think Falling Down with Michael Douglas is kind of like a cult classic.
yeah.
Because it's like, I don't think I go to that as like when I
I
think of a Michael
think
Douglas movie, I go to like The Game or something. But I really
yeah.
like Falling Down a lot. And
Here's a weird comparison, but I think it's kind of on par in terms with like filmmaking level and everything as Disturbia.
oh, yeah.
There's elements like it's super solid. It's really good suspense stuff. Unhinged, I'm saying. But there's
Mhm.
parts of it that feel maybe a little cheap, or like some of the actors feel like a little, inexperienced and that kind of thing. Like Russell
Oh
Crowe's
yeah, 'cause
really the main attraction, and everybody else around, and the main girl in it, she's really good. But she's kind of like an unknown more or less. So it's really kind of the one dude from he's one of the McPoyle twins. He was in Westworld. He's kind of
oh
the main
yeah.
guy in Westworld. I forget what his name is. I love this actor, but he's in it briefly. He's good. It was fun. It was definitely a good watch.
Dude, it's
I was
either
excited
Alien
about
3 or
it.
that. I might do a double feature.
Yeah, I gotta go
I'm
to the
watching.
dentist in the morning, so I'm gonna.
I got
What am I
a
gonna do?
job interview,
Nine
but it's not
o'clock.
till 2:30, so I can be
Yeah,
stay up as late as I want. But
yeah.
I'm gonna
We'll
buy
pretty
the
much do whatever we
goddamned,
want.
and I'm gonna probably read that tonight too. So
Yeah, dude, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on it. So I don't know,
and
maybe
I'm gonna get Berserker issue 1 and 2 if it's available. And
oh yeah,
we should do that as every time we do a superhero slam, we catch up on Berserker, we talk about it,
yeah. I think that's
break
cool
down the
too.
episodes.
Talk about some comics and stuff. That'll be great.
Yeah,
So look
it'll get
forward
me
to
to
more
read
fun
more.
stuff with Superhero Slam. Check out the main show. Check out our Aliens 35th anniversary Alien Day episode we just did a little bit before this one. If you want to support the show, help the channel to grow, and if you are in a means financially to help support that, check out our Patreon at Overly Critical Movie Club. And we have a few tiers there with some fun incentives. Go join our Facebook group if you're not already part of our Facebook group. If you happen to be watching on like YouTube or something, go to Facebook, join the group. We have 312 members right now. Really great group of people. We're constantly trading recommendations and giving our 2 cents on movies and stuff. We had a pretty, I'd say, textured conversation about the Mortal Kombat movie. And so it's fun. It can be really fun engaging in some conversations with the people in the group. So make sure you come join that. I may get greedy at some point and make that exclusive only behind the paywall. So you better get in while the getting's good.
Yeah, we're gonna
If
get
you
so
want to see,
popular, you're gonna have to pay all that money, $20.
yeah, be in the group and go to ice cream socials with us. Check us out on Instagram, Overly Critical Movie Club. I'm
I
at
like ice cream.
STNTCRZ. Me too. At Wolfie Cruz as well. Matty is Old Beardo.
Hi.
Just breezing through these. We're also on Twitter at Ocha Movie Club. Check out our Threadless store, Overly Critical Movie Club. Go ahead and search that. We also have a Threadless store. Just there's a link there, or you can just search Overly Critical Movie Club. We also have Daniel Crozier as a junior producer, as per the $3 tier on our Patreon. He gets a shout out in every episode, and as you can too by joining any one of those tiers. There's a bunch of fun perks to get. Check out our Overly Critical Classics episode, The Crow Deep Dive, on our YouTube channel. More to come from the Classics line. So stay tuned. We got some fun stuff planned there. If you want to get in touch with us, check out, or if you want to get in touch with us in this type of format and email, go ahead and send us overlycriticalmovieclub@gmail.com. What else do we got? Thank you, everybody, for watching and sticking around for our shenanigans. More to come from Superhero Slam. More to come on Overly Critical Movie Club Live. We're also going to branch off for some of our more horror concentrated conversations here soon, but I just haven't sat down to do logo. And I don't know, lots of stuff to come. I feel like we're kind of firing on all cylinders right now and just kind of letting the content flow. So stay tuned. I want to do cartoons. I want to do original content, stuff like that. So thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for being with us in these humble beginnings. Anything you'd like to add, Matty?
No, you've said it all. You always say it all.
Yeah, I talk a lot.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for watching. I'm not doing like an intro outro. I'm gonna try and work on that this week for Superhero Slam, or this weekend or whatever. Just so we have a little different kind of fun in and out music to differentiate. So I'm not gonna do that here. So I'm just gonna cut you right off. So this is Wolfie signing off.
To Matty, bye-bye.